All right, buckle up, movie fans, because we are diving into some seriously juicy news today.
We are. What's going on?
You know that iconic film, American Psycho? The one with Christian Bale as the, well, let's just say intense Wall Street guy?
Oh, yeah, American Psycho. Yeah, I know the one. Total classic.
Well, get this. A brand new adaptation is in the works, and it has the potential to be a whole different animal. We're talking a new take on Bret Easton Ellis's, well, infamous novel.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is already interesting. So we've got the source material, but what else? Who's directing?
That's the really interesting part. It's Luca Guadagnino. He's got this very distinct style, known for films like, Call Me by Your Name and Bones and All.
Whoa. Okay, so we're going from like the sharp satirical edge of the original to something potentially way more, I don't know, sensual, atmospheric.
Exactly. And then, to really throw things for a loop, they've cast Austin Butler as Patrick Bateman.
Wait, Austin Butler? Like the Elvis guy?
The one and only. I mean, talk about a transformative performance. To
Yeah.
go from Elvis to Patrick Bateman, that's a huge leap.
It is. Okay, I'm officially intrigued. So, for those who haven't read the book or seen the original film, what's the deal with American Psycho?
Well, it follows Patrick Bateman, right? He's this Wall Street yuppie, living the high life in the 80s, designer suits, fancy restaurants, the whole nine yards. But, and here's the kicker, he's also a serial killer.
Yeah, and it's not just about the violence, is it? There's this whole satirical layer, like a dark, twisted commentary on that whole 80s era of excess and, well, toxic masculinity.
You hit the nail on the head. It's like they took the greed and materialism of that era and turned it up to 11. And now you bring in a director like Guadagnino, who's known for these visually stunning, emotionally intense films.
Yeah, this could get really interesting.
It really could. It makes you wonder, how's he going to approach this material? What will he emphasize?
I'm thinking back to Bones and All, for example. A love story intertwined with cannibalism. The way he juxtaposes beauty and violence, desire and disgust. It's unsettling, but also incredibly captivating. Imagine that applied to American Psycho.
Well, I'm already getting chills.
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts on Austin Butler as Patrick Bateman? Think he can pull off that chilling duality?
Well, he was amazing as Elvis, right? Really disappeared into the role, but Bateman is such a specific kind of character. He's got this like eerie detachment, almost a void where his emotions should be. Can Butler tap into that?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's what's so exciting about this whole thing. You've got this incredibly talented actor taking on a role that demands so much nuance. And then you've got this director, Guadagnino, who's known for pushing boundaries and creating these incredibly immersive cinematic experiences.
Totally. Remember those long, lingering shots in Call Me by Your Name? The way he built tension and intimacy through visuals. Imagine that applied to, say, a scene of Bateman meticulously prepping for a kill, or even just like choosing a business card. Suddenly, even the mundane becomes charged with this unsettling energy.
It's like those everyday moments become clues to the darkness lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah.
But back to Guadagnino for a second. This isn't some up-and-coming director they've chosen. The guy is on a roll. I mean, just look at his recent work, Challengers and Queer, both grabbed Golden Globe nominations. So he's clearly at the top of his game, which makes this American Psycho project even more intriguing.
Yeah, you don't just hand over a cult classic to any director. They've picked someone with a vision, someone who's not afraid to experiment and challenge expectations.
Right. It makes you wonder, how much will he stick to the source material? And where will he put his own unique stamp on it?
Absolutely. Like, will he lean into the social satire or will he go more psychological thriller? It's a total guessing game at this point.
It is. And that's part of the fun. But, let's step back for a second. I mean, why should all of this matter to our listeners? Why should anyone be excited about a new American Psycho adaptation, especially one that seems so different from the original?
I think it comes down to the potential for reinvention. They're not just remaking a film, they're reimagining a story. And that story with its themes of violence, consumerism, identity, those are all themes that are arguably more relevant today than they were back in the 80s. So if Guadagnino can tap into that, if he can find a way to make this story resonate with a modern audience.
Oh man, the possibilities are endless.
Right. And Guadagnino, with his knack for visuals and creating these really emotionally charged atmospheres, he seems like the perfect person to pull it off.
It's like we're getting a chance to rediscover American Psycho, to look at it through a new lens and maybe even see things we didn't notice before.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe this new adaptation will spark a whole new wave of interest in the novel.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and before I forget, remember all that talk about Jacob Elordi potentially being cast as Bateman?
Oh, yeah, what happened there?
Well, looks like Butler snagged the role instead. Funny how they both were in the running for Elvis, too.
Small world. But yeah, back to Guadagnino. How do you think he'll recontextualize those themes of, violence and consumerism for today's audience?
That's the million-dollar question. My guess is he'll really lean into the psychological aspects of the story, like blurring the lines between what's real and what's fantasy in Bateman's head. He might even make us question our own complicity in the systems that create characters like Bateman.
You! Now that's a thought. It's going to be wild to see how this all plays out.
It definitely will be. I'm already thinking about all the think pieces and debates this film is going to generate.
Me too. Well, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into this American Psycho news. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to see what Guadagnino cooks up. Same here. Though hopefully it won't involve, any, unpleasant surprises. Let's just say I prefer my business cards clean and my videotapes returned on time.
Right.
Until next time, folks.
See ya.